So Kate Moss has absolutely wrecked that certain Aquaman starlet, and the funny thing is, she has no idea yet just how bad things are going to go. See, what she tried to do is she tried to bias and taint the jury, bringing up Kate Moss in a comment that she made up, thinking that this would be weaponized against JD, but unfortunately for her, it works out against her, and big time. I mean, honestly, she should have known that it didn't go her way at all. I mean, there were a few clues, like a lawyer from the other side pumping his fist, JD laughing, and now Kate Moss has wrecked her. And I'm talking about wrecking her to the point that it could utterly demolish that certain Aquaman starlet's case. I mean, this stuff, it is big time. You and I, we're going to talk about why. Fun times, huh? Fun times indeed. So, hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. And to understand how Kate Moss has wrecked her, you have to understand how this all came about. And you also have to understand that it was that certain Aquaman starlet's doing. See, the further that we get into the incident she alleges, the more and more desperate she'll become. And the incident that she added Kate Moss into is one that she entitles the staircase incident, March 2015. I'm going to read it really quickly to you. So soon after JD's return to LA, we got into a big argument one night because I found messages that showed he was cheating on me. I knew that he had cheated on me before, but I did not think he would have carried on after we got married. I confronted him about it. He reacted badly. He started smashing things up all around the apartment, including possessions of mine in the closet. I went to the penthouse next door where my sister Whitney was staying and told her what was happening, and she came into the apartment where JD and his team were. I remember being very upset and crying. I also remember JD and I were shouting at each other. At some point, he started hitting me. Everything happened very quickly. I recall Whitney standing between JD and I when he was trying to attack me on the mezzanine level. He pushed Whitney out of the way so he could reach me. She had her back to the stairs, and I remember being really scared that she was going to fall down the stairs. I lunged at JD to stop him from hurting my sister and struck him to protect her. It was an instinctive reaction to protect my sister. JD grabbed me by the hair with one hand and hit me repeatedly in the head with the other. His security stepped in and separated us. Whitney stayed with me the night after the incident. Now, the reason that certain Aquaman starlet adds in Kate Moss is simple. That particular piece of fanfic, it has a lot of problems, like grabbing someone and actually hitting them as well. Yeah, it's really hard to do when you have a cast and you have problems. I'm talking big problems with your finger. There's also the little problem of at least 3 people going on record telling different stories than she told. For example, Jennifer Howe, best friends with Whitney, that would be that certain Aquaman starlet's sister, saying Whitney, she actually moved in with me after this. Why? Because she says she tried to stop her sister from going after JD. She was afraid that JD, he would be ended by her, and she said she has been enduring this type of stuff all of her life, first from her father, then from her sister, whom she said was extremely violent. Now, you also had Travis McGivern, who took the stand and said, yeah, I saw her throttle JD. By the way, JD didn't do anything. And the sister, she wasn't around at all. You also had Vince Jolivet. Vince Jolivet was, amongst other things, James Franco's partner, and also he could back up Jennifer Howe. Why? Because he was around in 2016 and 2017, so much that he dated Whitney, that certain Aquaman starlet's sister, and he said the following, quote, during a conversation we had in the spring of 2016, I asked Whitney why she had moved in with Jennifer Howe, the founder of the Art of Elysium. She relayed to me a story about how she had to stop her sister from accosting JD, and in the process, how her sister almost knocked her down a flight of stairs. Now, with this and other stories falling apart at the seams, that certain Aquaman starlet tried to do something she did in UK 2020. She decided to bring in someone random to basically try to distract with this because she got away with it then. Why not now? Quote, Whitney, my sister, all of a sudden put herself in between JD and I. She threw herself like in the line of fire. All of a sudden, she was there. She was trying to get JD to stop. Her back was to the staircase, and JD swings at her. I don't hesitate. I don't wait. I instantly think of Kate Moss and the stairs, and I swing at him. Kate Moss and the stairs, huh? Now, this rumor was spawned by that certain Aquaman starlet. She created it in 2020, the UK trial, and she said he pushed Kate Moss down the stairs. I heard this from 2 people. This was fresh in my mind. Now, what bringing that rumor up does is it allows Kate Moss to wreck that certain Aquaman starlet, and the beautiful thing about this is she has already done that. She has already wrecked her, and you know what? She didn't even have to utter a word about her. She wrecked her in the past, years ago, all leading up to now. And after this moment, she will wreck her again. You already know it's going to happen. See, when she's opened up for Cross, you're going to have Kate Moss brought in. And depending on what exactly is said, you may not reach the standard of relevance to bring in Kate Moss to personally testify, but if that certain Aquaman starlet decides to double down, if she decides she's going to expand on her thoughts about this, we may actually see Kate Moss take the stand. But even if we don't, we look at past statements. All of them have been glowing about JD. If we look at future statements, those statements, we know how they're going to play out. They're not going to play out for that certain Aquaman starlet. This stuff, it is bad. And we are talking about destroying you on the stand. Bad. Again, she has already been wrecked. And that's only the tip of the proverbial iceberg. Now, the other thing that this opens the door for, and this, it is a big one. Before, we weren't able to hear about prior relationships, but bringing up JD's prior relationship with Kate Moss opens up introducing that certain Aquaman starlet's prior relations, which they tried to do before. The judge wouldn't allow, but now, she opened this up herself. That means that you can talk about Tasha Van Ree. 2009, Tasha Van Ree here, she was in an airport with that certain Aquaman starlet. They started having words. Well, that certain Aquaman starlet decided it would be more than words. Police get involved. She ends up getting arrested. She goes to jail and has to stay overnight. Now, the case, it ends up being dismissed, but that doesn't matter at all, because when you have the jury that ends up hearing about it, what they're going to hear is that there are 2 people sitting in that courtroom, 2 people that we're talking about that might have something wrong with them. Well, guess what? Only one of them has ever had the police come out and say, yeah, that person has an issue. Guess what? That person is not JD. Again, Kate Moss has absolutely wrecked that certain Aquaman starlet. She didn't even have to say a word to do it. I mean, this is big time. It was a huge, huge mistake. But at the same time, oh man, it is glorious.